The tale of the pie and the patty pan ***** butter and milk from the farm. The Tale of the Pie and the Patty Pan by Beatrix Potter, author of The Tale of Peter Rabbit and See Pussycat sits by the fire, how should she be fair? In walks the little dog, says Pussy, are you there? How do you do, Mistress Pussy? Mistress Pussy, how do you do? I thank you kindly, little dog. I fare as well as you. Old Rhyme. Frederick Warne Afternoon Tea. Frederick Warne, Penguin Books Limited, Harmondsworth, Middlesex, England. Viking Penguin Incorporated, 40 West 23rd Street, New York, New York 10010, USA. Penguin Books Australia Limited, Ringwood, Victoria, Australia. Penguin Books Canada Limited, 2801 John Street, Markham, Ontario, Canada. L3R1B4 Penguin Books, NZ, Limited, 182 to 190 Werra Road, Auckland 10, New Zealand. First published 1905. This impression 1985. Printed and bound in Great Britain by William Close Limited, Beccles and London. Miss Ruby writes an invitation. Once upon a time there was a pussycat called Ruby, who invited a little dog called Duchess to tea. Come in good time, my dear Duchess, said Ruby's letter, and we will have something so very nice. I am baking it in a pie dish with a pink rim. You never tasted anything so good. And you shall eat it all. I will eat muffins, my dear Duchess, wrote Ruby. Duchess read the letter and wrote an answer, I will come with much pleasure at 4:15. But it is very strange. I was just going to invite you to come here, to supper, my dear Ruby, to eat something most delicious. I will come very punctually, my dear Ruby, wrote Duchess, and then at the end she added, I hope it isn't mouse. The invitation, and then she thought that did not look quite polite, so she scratched out isn't mouse and changed it to I hope it will be fine, and she gave her letter to the postman. But she thought a great deal about Ruby's pie, and she read Ruby's letter over and over again. I am dreadfully afraid it will be mouse, said Duchess to herself. I really couldn't eat mouse pie. And I shall have to eat it, because it is a party. And my pie was going to be veal and ham. A pink and white pie dish. And so is mine, just like Ruby's dishes. They were both bought at Tabitha Twitchett's. Duchess went into her larder and took the pie off a shelf and looked at it. Duchess retrieves her pie. It is all ready to put into the oven. Such lovely pie crust, and I put in a little tin patty pan to hold up the crust, and I made a hole in the middle with a fork to let out the steam. Oh, I do wish I could eat my own pie, instead of a pie made of mouse. Duchess considered and read Ruby's letter again, a pink and white pie dish, and you shall eat it all. You means me, then Ruby is not going to even taste the pie herself. A pink and white pie dish. Ruby is sure to go out to buy the muffins. Oh, what a good idea. Why shouldn't I rush along and put my pie into Ruby's oven when Ruby isn't there? Duchess likes her pie with ham and veal. Duchess was quite delighted with her own cleverness. Ruby in the meantime had received Duchess's answer, and as soon as she was sure that the little dog could come, she popped her pie into the oven. There were 2 ovens, one above the other. Some other knobs and handles were only ornamental and not intended to open. Ruby put the pie into the lower oven. The door was very stiff. "The top oven bakes too quickly," said Ruby to herself. "It is a pie of the most delicate and tender mouse minced up with bacon. And I have taken out all the bones, because Duchess did nearly choke herself with a fish bone last time I gave a party. She eats a little fast, rather big mouthfuls. But a most genteel and elegant little dog, infinitely superior company to Cousin Tabitha Twitchit." The pie made of mouse Ruby put on some coal and swept up the hearth. Then she went out with a can to the well, for water to fill up the kettle. Then she began to set the room in order, for it was the sitting room as well as the kitchen. She shook the mats out at the front door and put them straight. The hearthrug was a rabbit skin. She dusted the clock and the ornaments on the mantelpiece, and she polished and rubbed the tables and chairs. Then she spread a very clean white tablecloth, and set out her best china tea set, which she took out of a wall cupboard near the fireplace. The teacups were white with a pattern of pink roses, and the dinner plates were white and blue. Ruby prepares for her guest. When Ruby had laid the table, she took a jug and a blue and white dish, and went out down the field to the farm, to fetch milk and butter. When she came back, she peeped into the bottom oven. The pie looked very comfortable. Ruby put on her shawl and bonnet and went out again with a basket, to the village shop to buy a packet of tea, a pound of lump sugar, and a pot of marmalade. And just at the same time, Duchess came out of her house, at the other end of the village. The veal and ham pie. Ruby met Duchess halfway down the street, also carrying a basket, covered with a cloth. They only bowed to one another. They did not speak, because they were going to have a party. As soon as Duchess had got round the corner out of sight, she simply ran straight away to Ruby's house. Duchess and Ruby pass on the street. Ruby went into the shop and bought what she required, and came out, after a pleasant gossip with Cousin Tabitha Twitchit. Ruby leaves Tabitha's shop. Cousin Tabitha was disdainful afterwards in conversation, a little dog indeed. Just as if there were no cats in Surrey. And a pie for afternoon tea. The very idea, said Cousin Tabitha Twitchit. Ruby went on to Timothy Baker's and bought the muffins. Then she went home. There seemed to be a sort of scuffling noise in the back passage, as she was coming in at the front door. I trust that is not that pie, the spoons are locked up, however, said Ruby. But there was nobody there. Ruby opened the bottom oven door with some difficulty, and turned the pie. There began to be a pleasing smell of baked mouse. Where is the pie made of mouse? Duchess in the meantime, had slipped out at the back door. It is a very odd thing that Ruby's pie was not in the oven when I put mine in. And I can't find it anywhere. I have looked all over the house. I put my pie into a nice hot oven at the top. I could not turn any of the other handles. I think that they are all shams, said Duchess, but I wish I could have removed the pie made of mouse. I cannot think what she has done with it. I heard Ruby coming and I had to run out by the back door. Duchess grooms for her social visit. Duchess went home and brushed her beautiful black coat, and then she picked a bunch of flowers in her garden as a present for Ruby, and passed the time until the clock struck 4. Ruby, having assured herself by careful search that there was really no one hiding in the cupboard or in the larder, went upstairs to change her dress. She put on a lilac silk gown, for the party, and an embroidered muslin apron and tippet. "It is very strange," said Ruby, "I did not think I left that drawer pulled out. Has somebody been trying on my mittens?" She came downstairs again, and made the tea, and put the teapot on the hob. She peeped again into the bottom oven. The pie had become a lovely brown, and it was steaming hot. Ready for the party, she sat down before the fire to wait for the little dog. "I am glad I used the bottom oven," said Ruby. "The top one would certainly have been very much too hot. I wonder why that cupboard door was open. Can there really have been someone in the house?" Very punctually at 4 o'clock, Duchess started to go to the party. She ran so fast through the village that she was too early, and she had to wait a little while in the lane that leads down to Ruby's house. "I wonder if Ruby has taken my pie out of the oven yet," said Duchess, "and whatever can have become of the other pie made of mouse?" Bringing a present of flowers at 4:15 to the minute, there came a most genteel little tap-tappity. "Is Mrs. Ribston at home?" inquired Duchess in the porch. "Come in." "And how do you do, my dear Duchess?" cried Ruby. "I hope I see you well." "Quite well, I thank you. And how do you do, my dear Ruby?" said Duchess. "I've brought you some flowers. What a delicious smell of pie." Duchess in the porch. "Oh, what lovely flowers." "Yes, it is mouse and bacon." "Do not talk about food, my dear Ruby," said Duchess. "What a lovely white tea cloth. Is it done to a turn? Is it still in the oven?" "I think it wants another 5 minutes," said Ruby. "Just a shade longer. I will pour out the tea, while we wait. Do you take sugar, my dear Duchess?" "Oh yes, please, my dear Ruby, and may I have a lump upon my nose?" "With pleasure, my dear Duchess. How beautifully you beg. Oh, how sweetly pretty." Duchess balances a lump of sugar on her nose. Duchess sat up with the sugar on her nose and sniffed. "How good that pie smells. I do love veal and ham, I mean to say mouse and bacon." Duchess is distracted as the mouse pie is taken from the oven. She dropped the sugar in confusion, and had to go hunting under the tea table, so did not see which oven Ruby opened in order to get out the pie. Ruby set the pie upon the table. There was a very savory smell. Duchess came out from under the tablecloth munching sugar, and sat up on a chair. "I will first cut the pie for you. I am going to have muffin and marmalade," said Ruby. "Do you really prefer muffin? Mind the patty-pan." Seated at the table. "I beg your pardon," said Ruby. "May I pass you the marmalade?" said Duchess hurriedly. The pie proved extremely toothsome, and the muffins light and hot. They disappeared rapidly, especially the pie. I think, thought the Duchess to herself, I think it would be wiser if I helped myself to pie. The Ruby did not seem to notice anything when she was cutting it. What very small fine pieces it has cooked into. I did not remember that I had minced it up so fine. I suppose this is a quicker oven than my own. Dutch swolfs down the pie. How fast Duchess is eating, thought Ruby to herself, as she buttered her 5th muffin. Kitty eats muffins with her tea. The pie dish was emptying rapidly. Duchess had had 4 helps already, and was fumbling with the spoon. A little more bacon, my dear Duchess, said Ruby. Thank you, my dear Ruby, I was only feeling for the patty-pan. Where is the patty-pan? The patty-pan. My dear Duchess. The patty-pan that held up the pie crust, said Duchess, blushing under her black coat. Oh, I didn't put one in, my dear Duchess, said Ruby. I don't think that it is necessary in pies made of mouse. Duchess fumbled with the spoon. I can't find it, she said anxiously. There isn't a patty-pan, said Ruby, looking perplexed. Yes, indeed, my dear Ruby, where can it have gone to, said Duchess. Ruby talks to Duchess about pies. There most certainly is not one, my dear Duchess. I disapprove of tin articles in puddings and pies. It is most undesirable, especially when people swallow in lumps, she added in a lower voice. Duchess looked very much alarmed, and continued to scoop the inside of the pie dish. My great-aunt Squintina, grandmother of cousin Tabitha Twitchit, died of a thimble in a Christmas plum pudding. I never put any article of metal in my puddings or pies. Duchess looked aghast, and tilted up the pie dish. I have only 4 patty-pans, and they are all in the cupboard. Duchess set up a howl. I shall die. I shall die. I have swallowed a patty-pan. Oh, my dear Ruby, I do feel so ill. It is impossible, my dear Duchess, there was not a patty-pan. Duchess moaned and whined and rocked herself about. Oh, I feel so dreadful, I have swallowed a patty-pan. There was nothing in the pie, said Ruby severely. Yes, there was, my dear Ruby, I am sure I have swallowed it. Let me prop you up with a pillow, my dear Duchess, where do you think you feel it? Oh, I do feel so ill all over me, my dear Ruby, I have swallowed a large tin patty-pan with a sharp scalloped edge. Duchess thinks she swallowed the tin. Shall I run for the doctor? I will just lock up the spoons. Oh yes, yes. Fetch Dr. Magotti, my dear Ruby, he is a pie himself, he will certainly understand. Ruby settled Duchess in an armchair before the fire, and went out and hurried to the village to look for the doctor. She found him at the smithy. He was occupied in putting rusty nails into a bottle of ink, which he had obtained at the post office. Gammon! Ha! Ha! said he, with his head on one side. Ruby explained that her guest had swallowed a patty-pan. Spinach! Ha! Ha! said he, and accompanied her with alacrity. Dr. Magotti's mixture. He hopped so fast that Ruby had to run. It was most conspicuous. All the village could see that Ruby was fetching the doctor. I knew they would overeat themselves, said Cousin Tabitha Twitchit. Tabitha observes, but while Ruby had been hunting for the doctor, a curious thing had happened to Duchess, who had been left by herself, sitting before the fire, sighing and groaning and feeling very unhappy. How could I have swallowed it? Such a large thing as a patty-pan. She got up and went to the table, and felt inside the pie dish again with a spoon. No, there is no patty-pan, and I put one in, and nobody has eaten pie except me, so I must have swallowed it. Duchess is conflicted. She sat down again, and stared mournfully at the grate. The fire crackled and danced, and something sizzled. Duchess started. She opened the door of the top oven, out came a rich steamy flavor of veal and ham, and there stood a fine brown pie, and through a hole in the top of the pie crust there was a glimpse of a little tin patty-pan. Duchess drew a long breath. Then I must have been eating mouse. No wonder I feel ill. But perhaps I should feel worse if I had really swallowed a patty-pan. Duchess reflected, what a very awkward thing to have to explain to Ruby. I think I will put my pie in the backyard and say nothing about it. When I go home, I will run round and take it away. She put it outside the back door, and sat down again by the fire, and shut her eyes. When Ruby arrived with the doctor, she seemed fast asleep. Duchess hides her pie. Gammon, ha, ha, said the doctor. I am feeling very much better, said Duchess, waking up with a jump. I am truly glad to hear it. He has brought you a pill, my dear Duchess. I think I should feel quite well if he only felt my pulse, said Duchess, backing away from the magpie, who sidled up with something in his beak. It is only a bread pill. You had much better take it. Drink a little milk, my dear Duchess. Gammon. Gammon, said the doctor, while Duchess coughed and choked. Don't say that again, said Ruby, losing her temper. Here, take this bread and jam, and get out into the yard. What a peculiar doctor. Gammon and spinach. Ha ha ha, shouted Dr. Magotti triumphantly outside the back door. I am feeling very much better, my dear Ruby, said Duchess. Do you not think that I had better go home before it gets dark? Perhaps it might be wise, my dear Duchess. I will lend you a nice warm shawl, and you shall take my arm. I would not trouble you for worlds. I feel wonderfully better. One pill of Dr. Magotti, indeed it is most admirable, if it has cured you of a patty-pan. I will call directly after breakfast to ask how you have slept. Ruby and Duchess said goodbye affectionately, and Duchess started home. Halfway up the lane she stopped and looked back. Ruby had gone in and shut her door. Duchess slipped through the fence, and ran round to the back of Ruby's house, and peeped into the yard. Upon the roof of the pigsty sat Dr. Magotti and 3 jackdaws. The jackdaws were eating pie crust, and the magpie was drinking gravy out of a patty-pan. Gammon, Ha, ha, he shouted when he saw Duchess's little black nose peeping round the corner. Duchess ran home feeling uncommonly silly. When Ruby came out for a pailful of water to wash up the tea things, she found a pink and white pie dish lying smashed in the middle of the yard. The patty pan was under the pump, where Dr. Magotti had considerately left it. So there really was a patty pan. Ruby stared with amazement. Did you ever see the like? So there really was a patty pan. But my patty pans are all in the kitchen cupboard. Well, I never did. Next time I want to give a party, I will invite Cousin Tabitha Twitchit. The patty pan. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. End of the Project Gutenberg ebook The Tale of the Pie and the Patty Pan. Asterisk asterisk asterisk. Updated editions will replace the previous one, the old editions will be renamed. Creating the works from print editions not protected by U.S. copyright law means that no one owns a United States copyright in these works. So the Foundation, and you, can copy and distribute it in the United States without permission and without paying copyright royalties. Special rules, set forth in the General Terms of Use part of this license, apply to copying and distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept and trademark. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark, and may not be used if you charge for an ebook, except by following the terms of the trademark license, including paying royalties for use of the Project Gutenberg trademark. If you do not charge anything for copies of this ebook, complying with the trademark license is very easy. You may use this ebook for nearly any purpose, such as creation of derivative works, reports, performances and research. Project Gutenberg ebooks may be modified and printed and given away. You may do practically anything in the United States with ebooks not protected by U.S. copyright law. Redistribution is subject to the trademark license, especially commercial redistribution. Start. Full license. The full Project Gutenberg license. Please read this before you distribute or use this work to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting the free distribution of electronic works. By using or distributing this work, or any other work associated in any way with the phrase Project Gutenberg, you agree to comply with all the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license available with this file or online at www.gutenberg.org/license. Section 1. General Terms of Use and Redistributing Project Gutenberg Trademark Symbol Electronic Works 1.0. By reading or using any part of this Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work, you indicate that you have read, understand, agree to and accept all the terms of this license and intellectual property, trademark/copyright, agreement. If you do not agree to abide by all the terms of this agreement, you must cease using and return or destroy all copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in your possession. If you paid a fee for obtaining a copy of or access to a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work and you do not agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement, you may obtain a refund from the person or entity to whom you paid the fee as set forth in paragraph 1.e.8. 1.b Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark. It may only be used on or associated in any way with an electronic work by people who agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement. There are a few things that you can do with most Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works even without complying with the full terms of this agreement. See paragraph 1.c below. There are a lot of things you can do with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works if you follow the terms of this agreement and help preserve free future access to Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. See paragraph 1.e below. 1.c The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the Foundation or PGLAF, owns a compilation copyright in the collection of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. Nearly all the individual works in the collection are in the public domain in the United States. If an individual work is unprotected by copyright law in the United States and you are located in the United States, we do not claim a right to prevent you from copying, distributing, performing, displaying or creating derivative works based on the work as long as all references to Project Gutenberg are removed. Of course, we hope that you will support the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting free access to electronic works by freely sharing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works in compliance with the terms of this agreement for keeping the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol name associated with the work. You can easily comply with the terms of this agreement by keeping this work in the same format with its attached full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license when you share it without charge with others. 1.d The copyright laws of the place where you are located also govern what you can do with this work. Copyright laws in most countries are in a constant state of change. If you are outside the United States, check the laws of your country in addition to the terms of this agreement before downloading, copying, displaying, performing, distributing or creating derivative works based on this work or any other Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. The Foundation makes no representations concerning the copyright status of any work in any country other than the United States. 1.e Unless you have removed all references to Project Gutenberg. 1.e.1 The following sentence, with active links to, or other immediate access to, the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license must appear prominently whenever any copy of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, any work on which the phrase Project Gutenberg appears, or with which the phrase Project Gutenberg is associated, is accessed, displayed, performed, viewed, copied or distributed. This ebook is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included with this ebook or online at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this ebook. 1.e.2 If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is derived from texts not protected by U.S. copyright law, does not contain a notice indicating that it is posted with permission of the copyright holder, the work can be copied and distributed to anyone in the United States without paying any fees or charges. If you are redistributing or providing access to a work with the phrase Project Gutenberg associated with or appearing on the work, you must comply either with the requirements of paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 or obtain permission for the use of the work and the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark as set forth in paragraphs 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.3 If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is posted with the permission of the copyright holder, your use and distribution must comply with both paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 and any additional terms imposed by the copyright holder. Additional terms will be linked to the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license for all works posted with the permission of the copyright holder found at the beginning of this work. 1.e.4 Do not unlink or detach or remove the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license terms from this work, or any files containing a part of this work or any other work associated with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. 1.e.5 Do not copy, display, perform, distribute or redistribute this electronic work, or any part of this electronic work, without prominently displaying the sentence set forth in paragraph 1.e.1 with active links or immediate access to the full terms of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. 1.e.6 You may convert to and distribute this work in any binary, compressed, marked up, non-proprietary or proprietary form, including any word processing or hypertext form. However, if you provide access to or distribute copies of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work in a format other than plain vanilla ASCII or other format used in the official version posted on the official Project Gutenberg trademark symbol website, www.gutenberg.org, you must, at no additional cost, fee or expense to the user, provide a copy, a means of exporting a copy, or a means of obtaining a copy upon request, of the work in its original plain vanilla ASCII or other form. Any alternate format must include the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license as specified in paragraph 1.e.1. 1.e.7 Do not charge a fee for access to, viewing, displaying, performing, copying or distributing any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works unless you comply with paragraph 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.8 You may charge a reasonable fee for copies of or providing access to or distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works provided that you pay a royalty fee of 20% of the gross profits you derive from the use of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works calculated using the method you already use to calculate your applicable taxes. The fee is owed to the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark trademark, but he has agreed to donate royalties under this paragraph to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Royalty payments must be paid within 60 days following each date on which you prepare, or are legally required to prepare, your periodic tax returns. Royalty payments should be clearly marked as such and sent to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation at the address specified in Section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. You provide a full refund of any money paid by a user who notifies you in writing, or by email, within 30 days of receipt that he does not agree to the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. You must require such a user to return or destroy all copies of the works possessed in a physical medium and discontinue all use of and all access to other copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. You provide, in accordance with paragraph 1.f.3, a full refund of any money paid for a work or a replacement copy, if a defect in the electronic work is discovered and reported to you within 90 days of receipt of the work. You comply with all other terms of this agreement for free distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. 1.e.9. If you wish to charge a fee or distribute a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work or group of works on different terms than are set forth in this agreement, you must obtain permission in writing from the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the manager of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark. Contact the Foundation as set forth in Section 3 below. 1.f1.f.1. Project Gutenberg volunteers and employees expend considerable effort to identify, do copyright research on, transcribe and proofread works not protected by U.S. copyright law in creating the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection. Despite these efforts, Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, and the medium on which they may be stored, may contain defects such as, but not limited to, incomplete, inaccurate or corrupt data, transcription errors, a copyright or other intellectual property infringement, a defective or damaged disk or other medium, a computer virus, or computer codes that damage or cannot be read by your equipment. 1.f.2. Limited warranty, disclaimer of damages, except for the right of replacement or refund described in paragraph 1.f.3, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark, and any other party distributing a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work under this agreement, disclaim all liability to you for damages, costs and expenses, including legal fees. You agree that you have no remedies for negligence, strict liability, breach of warranty or breach of contract except those provided in paragraph 1.f.3. You agree that the Foundation, the trademark owner, and any distributor under this agreement will not be liable to you for actual, direct, indirect, consequential, punitive or incidental damages even if you give notice of the possibility of such damage. 1.f.3 Limited right of replacement or refund. If you discover a defect in this electronic work within 90 days of receiving it, you can receive a refund of the money, if any, you paid for it by sending a written explanation to the person you received the work from. If you received the work on a physical medium, you must return the medium with your written explanation. The person or entity that provided you with the defective work may elect to provide a replacement copy in lieu of a refund. If you received the work electronically, the person or entity providing it to you may choose to give you a second opportunity to receive the work electronically in lieu of a refund. If the second copy is also defective, you may demand a refund in writing without further opportunities to fix the problem. 1.f.4 Except for the limited right of replacement or refund set forth in paragraph 1.f.3, this work is provided to you as is, with no other warranties of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to warranties of merchantability or fitness for any purpose. 1.f.5 Some states do not allow disclaimers of certain implied warranties or the exclusion or limitation of certain types of damages. If any disclaimer or limitation set forth in this agreement violates the law of the state applicable to this agreement, the agreement shall be interpreted to make the maximum disclaimer or limitation permitted by the applicable state law. The invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this agreement shall not void the remaining provisions. 1.f.6 Indemnity. You agree to indemnify and hold the foundation, the trademark owner, any agent or employee of the foundation, anyone providing copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in accordance with this agreement, and any volunteers associated with the production, promotion and distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, harmless from all liability, costs and expenses, including legal fees, that arise directly or indirectly from any of the following which you do or cause to occur. A. Distribution of this or any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. B. Alteration, modification, or additions or deletions to any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, and c. Any defect you cause. Section 2. Information about the mission of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol is synonymous with the free distribution of electronic works in formats readable by the widest variety of computers, including obsolete, old, middle-aged and new computers. It exists because of the efforts of hundreds of volunteers and donations from people in all walks of life. Volunteers and financial support to provide volunteers with the assistance they need are critical to reaching Project Gutenberg trademark symbol's goals and ensuring that the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection will remain freely available for generations to come. In 2001, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation was created to provide a secure and permanent future for Project Gutenberg trademark symbol and future generations. To learn more about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation and how your efforts and donations can help, See sections 3 and 4 and the Foundation information page at www.gutenberg.org. Section 3. Information about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation is a non-profit 501(c)(3) educational corporation organized under the laws of the state of Mississippi and granted tax-exempt status by the Internal Revenue Service. The Foundation's IN or Federal Tax Identification Number is 64-6221541. Contributions to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation are tax-deductible to the full extent permitted by U.S. federal laws and your state's laws. The Foundation's business office is located at 809 North 1500 West, Salt Lake City, UT 84116, 801-596-1887. Email contact links and up-to-date contact information can be found at the Foundation's website and official page at www.gutenberg.org/contact section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol depends upon and cannot survive without widespread public support and donations to carry out its mission of increasing the number of public domain and licensed works that can be freely distributed in machine-readable form accessible by the widest array of equipment including outdated equipment. Many small donations, $1 to $5,000, are particularly important to maintaining tax-exempt status with the IRS. The Foundation is committed to complying with the laws regulating charities and charitable donations in all 50 states of the United States. Compliance requirements are not uniform and it takes a considerable effort, much paperwork and many fees to meet and keep up with these requirements. We do not solicit donations in locations where we have not received written confirmation of compliance. To send donations or determine the status of compliance for any particular state, visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. While we cannot and do not solicit contributions from states where we have not met the solicitation requirements, we know of no prohibition against accepting unsolicited donations from donors in such states who approach us with offers to donate. International donations are gratefully accepted, but we cannot make any statements concerning tax treatment of donations received from outside the United States. U.S. laws alone swamp our small staff. Please check the Project Gutenberg web pages for current donation methods and addresses. Donations are accepted in a number of other ways including checks, online payments and credit card donations. To donate, please visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. Section 5. General information about Project Gutenberg trademark symbol Electronic Works. Professor Michael S. Hart was the originator of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept of a library of electronic works that could be freely shared with anyone. For 40 years, He produced and distributed Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks with only a loose network of volunteer support. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks are often created from several printed editions, all of which are confirmed as not protected by copyright in the US unless a copyright notice is included. Thus, we do not necessarily keep ebooks in compliance with any particular paper edition. Most people start at our website, which has the main PG search facility, www.gutenberg.org. This website includes information about Project Gutenberg trademark symbol, including how to make donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, how to help produce our new ebooks, and how to subscribe to our email newsletter to hear about new ebooks.